That's the difference between jump starting and boosting the battery. And one funny thing is, the one you boost the battery, it will not come back to normal. It can never reach the normal original state. And it can not retain as much energy as it used to retain before. All you guys get what I'm saying now. Then I also talk about discharge in my last class. I said your rate of discharge is also based on the energy left in your battery. That was when I said you can put an higher load on the battery and the battery went off. And you come back to a normal load and you still pick up and you still work for hours. Because the lesser the energy that is left in your battery, the lesser also the amps that you can draw out of your battery per time. Even there are some batteries that if you draw unnecessarily from them, especially AGM, the battery, the glass inside the battery can break off. Oh my God. The glass inside the battery can break off. That's why we normally advise. And another thing about those batteries is that no matter how good or bad your battery is, your battery works mostly perfectly in room temperature. That is, you don't expose your battery to where sun rays will be coming on it. It will affect the efficiency of the battery. You notice that some people, they will put their solar batteries in a place where sun will be hitting it. They will now start complaining that during the afternoon, the battery will not be efficient. Especially if they are using only inverter and battery. You will notice that inside of the battery to retain enough energy, instead of reaching like maybe 13.5 now and keep working, the battery might get to 12.7, 12.6 and you stop charging. It's not like I can't receive more charges, but because the electrolytes inside of it have higher current. The battery is already warm, it will not receive more charges. When it now comes down to maybe evening, when the battery comes back to around 25 degrees, you now notice that the battery that wasn't receiving more energy before started receiving energy. What you just turn them in such a situation that they should make an enclosure. And as I said earlier, especially tubular battery, we don't put tubular battery where there is no ventilation. You notice there are some people, they tell you that they want to put their battery under the step. Even if it will be under the step, make a ventilation outside. You can use something called home net. Home net is like a fan, but instead of blowing out, you'll be drawing it outside. Hope you get what I'm saying now. So that's on battery. Now let me now move to the next one. I've talked about VDC yesterday. VDC, that's voltage direct current, means the operation of your battery. If I'm having a single battery of 12 volts, it doesn't mean that battery will be always 12 volts. It can range from 10.1 to 14.8. But for ease of calculation, a single battery is rated to 12 volts. Hope you get what I'm saying? If it's tubular, for example, now tubular can reach 13.5, 13.8. If it is lithium, we even have some lithium that can reach like 15 volts. But the standard operating voltage for ease of operation is 12. So if you are putting two batteries together, it will be what? 24. If you are putting three batteries together, that is 36. And when they now write VDC on battery, let me say they write transfer VDC, meaning that you need to put the battery together 2-2. You now want to use 8 battery on that system. That will take me to the next connection. We have something called series connection and parallel connection. In series, you use two opposing signs. Negative will be connected to positive, or positive will be connected to negative. That's series. In parallel connection, you connect this. I need someone's book and pen. Open the page that I can use. I will design of. Let me assume that this is my battery. Positive, you know your battery always have positive, negative. Positive, negative. In parallel connection, what did I tell you? Positive and positive will connected together, and negative will connected together. So if I connect this to this, let's say this is 12 volts, 12 volts. Let me assume that this 220 amps hour battery, and this is also 220 amps hour battery. Don't worry, I'll still get a board later. So if I connect this the positive to positive and negative to negative. On the positive side here, I still have what? My 12 volts. In parallel connection, in parallel connection, you still retain almost same voltage, although it might be increasing small, small. Then my negative here, I still have 12 volts. But instead of it being 220, it will now be 12 volts, 440 AH. Now, these same two batteries now, if I connect them now in series, I'll give you guys assignment too. Okay, you don't buy my cook. Go bring am come. So, you don't get money. You know, so you get debt for him. This one will be 24 volts, 220 AH. Because this is still same 12. This is still same 12. What do I mean? In series connection, in series, your voltage increases. Your current almost constant. Okay, again. But you will not notice something about energy. If I multiply 12 verse 440 and 24 by verse 220, it will still give me the same energy. Okay, I get what I'm saying now. Then when we are not talking, I'm talking of VDC now, that is voltage direct current. Inverter is what will determine the numbers of battery that you will use. You know, I told you we have 12 VDC, 24, 36, 48, we have 96, we have 120 VDC, we have 240 VDC. In 120 VDC means how many batteries now? 10 batteries. Although these one are normally industrial inverters. 240 VDC means. So the moment the arrangement of your battery doesn't reach this minimum voltage, the inverter will not work. Hope you guys get what I'm saying now. If I'm using a system like I have an inverter at home, that one is 48 VDC. Meaning that before I can use that inverter, I must have how many batteries? 4 batteries. Meaning I'll connect positive, negative, positive, negative. So I'll just connect it like a positive, negative, positive, negative. I'll connect this like this. I'll connect this like this. And my output is like this. This same, now I have another inverter now. There is 24 VDC. And I still have my 4 battery. How will I connect it now?
Power.
Oh yeah, how will I connect it?
Positive to positive. Negative to power.
So I will connect it in parallel. Positive to positive, negative to negative. What of the remaining two?
This whole process will take 12 volts. When you connect this whole thing,
how will I now bring out my energy now to my inverter? And I'll take it out from here, positive, and I'll take it out from here, negative. So this is 24, this is 24, and it works together. One thing I want you to notice is that in series connection, you use lesser number of jumper cable. All these cables that you see here, we call them jumper cables. So in this design, you just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumper cables. But in this setup, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumper cables. The moment you are combining both series and parallel together, you will be using more jumper cables than connecting in series alone or in parallel alone. I'll give you guys assignments. You're going to help me do a design, 2 designs. I have 16 batteries. 16 batteries. and I want to achieve 24 VDC, and I want to also achieve 48 VDC, and I want to achieve 96 VDC, and I want to achieve 12 VDC. Or let me cancel this. 24, 48, and that's assignment. So you draw the setup. Maybe on Thursday or Friday when we have our next class. Let me pause for battery now. Another thing about battery is that if you want your battery to last, don't put them on the ground. Make sure that they are a little elevated from the ground. Even if it is ordinary plank, put it on there. That's why you notice that most battery rack, they have an elevation that raises them from the ground. Let me now stop there on battery. I'll give you assignment number 2. Arms and gauge. You go and do, if I want to connect batteries, what will be the size of the cable that I need? If I'm connecting 24 volts, I will assume that I'm using between 10 to 20 to 50 amps. It's online. You can go and see it there. The higher let me just give you it. The higher the current I want to pass through a cable, the higher the diameter of the cable. When we are talking of diameter of cable, let me assume this is a cable. The distance from here to here, that's our diameter. So, how will you notice that you are using wrong diameter? The moment you put load on your inverter and your cable, either your jumper cable or your main cable that is coming to your inverter, start getting hot, you know that you are using wrong cable. The moment you load, because that's why we normally say, immediately after installation, what do you normally say in inverter? Put on everything. Let's see the maximum load. The moment after maximum load and you now touch your cable and discover that the cable is hot, you are using the wrong cable. And one thing funny thing about cable is that if I'm using 4 mm now, if I now put, when I discover my cable is hot, I now put 4 mm, 4 mm, it's not equal to 8 mm. If you join 4 mm, let's say I use 4 mm, right? And I discover that the cable is hot, and I put another 4 mm here, and I put another 4 mm here. It doesn't equal to 8 mm. It will be around, maybe around 5 to, it's not even up to 6 mm. Yes. The only condition that you can achieve 8 mm is if you peel the 2 wire and join the 2 together. Yes. If each of them have their own independent pathway, it doesn't equivalent to it. Let me start there. Go and do cable gauge for DC. And one funny thing about DC signals is that they have higher current and lesser voltage. It's not like your normal electricity. In your normal electricity, even if you are putting on an iron, let me say the iron is 1000 watts, and you have 220 volts. 220 divided by 1000, that's around 4 point something amps. Abi, even not up to 5 amps. But that same iron that is 1000 volts, if you put it on DC that is on 48 volts, it will be 1000 divided by 48. That means around 20 something amps will pass through. Hope you now understand the major reason why DC cable needs to be thicker than AC cable. Because DC must allow it have higher current, lower voltage, whereas AC have lower current and higher voltage. Let me suspend it there. Let me now move to the next one. We have what we call the breakers. Under breakers, we have different types of breakers. The major function of your breaker is that when you experience any fault along the line, instead of you to spoil either your inverter or your battery, anything, it will isolate your circuit. There was a day, last week, we were installing that solar now. We made mistake in the polarity of the battery. The breaker trip off. Thank God there was a breaker there. If there's no breaker there, it's our tap controller that will burn. And thank God that breaker was working effectively. It just tripped off. Something wrong. We now put it right. So, although we have different types of breaker, we have the MCB, we have the ELCB, we have different types of breaker. We have different types. But let me talk about the two major ones that we use. We normally use the ELCB, and we have the normal circuit or higher current circuit breaker that we call normal CB. That the moment you notice that there is an higher current, higher than what is needed, it will break off. That's what breaker needs to do. You guys get what I'm saying now? But in ELCB, it's a little different. Instead of the breaker to only break off, it will send the excess current. That's why your ELCB normally have 3 points. It have 2 input points, 2 output points. You get what I'm saying? You have your live and neutral, or your positive and negative. You also have your positive and negative on the other side. In ELCB, it now have one that is arcs. The only condition that ELCB stands for arc linkage circuit breaker. The only condition that ELCB will work is if the arc of that house is still good, but it will direct the excess current down to the arcs. So apart from breaking the circuit, it will not allow you to get electrocuted when there is a shock. Instead of that shock to be on you, to direct it to the arcs. And we don't use ELCB for normal breaking of circuit. I've seen some guys that will do that same mistake. I have one of my bad friends. You put normal ELCB design, let me say on the AC side. You now tell them that when you want to off it, when you want to on it, that thing will not last. ELCB is not meant to be putting off and on. It's your normal CB that you can be putting on and off. But when you keep using it up and down, the day that you will need it, it will not work. So for DC breaker, let me bring those breakers. Every DC breaker, before they write their serial number, they will put DC in front of it. This is DC. You see, they will write DC either before or after. Maybe CH15, CH15, you see DC there. This is a DC breaker, meaning that it can handle higher current but lower voltage. DC breaker can handle higher current but lower voltage. Let me say it's 24 volts now. It can handle up to like 50 amps. But in AC breaker, you will not see anywhere they write AC on it. Can't see AC on it. You just write normal number. This one will handle higher voltage but lower currents. In DC breaker, it handles higher current, lower voltage. But this one will handle higher voltage, lower current. Yes. And there are some breakers like this one that we even have color. When it's working normally, it will be green. When it's working abnormally, it will change to red. What's the next component I talk about? All your breakers will normally put them inside our combiner box. That white box. When you get combiner box, I talk about it. We now move to surge. There is a difference between a breaker and a surge. A breaker, the moment it receives higher voltage, it goes to off mode. Whereas a surge will absorb higher voltage and direct it to the heart. In your breaker, you have input and output load. In most of your breakers, you have input. Like now, this will be input and this one will be output. That's why it goes up like this. But in your surge, you will only have input. The output that you have will be out. Let me draw it here. Where's your pen? My breakers are normally like this. This. Then it has up and down like this. So, and one funny thing about breaker is if this is your positive, negative, this DC. But if it is the other one, it should be live and neutral. This and this. Live and what? Neutral. This AC. So you have up and down. But in your surge, in your surge, it will only have input mode, live or positive and negative. Then at this side of it, you now have E that you connect your heart. So what your surge normally does is that when you now want to connect your surge, most times these are our inputs and these are our outputs. Most times we connect our input here to the positive here. So the moment the higher voltage comes in, before it gets here, this will have absorbed it. We don't connect our surge to the outputs, because if you connect it to the outputs, the some of it might escape and destroy what you want to protect. Okay, I get what I'm saying now. If you are connecting your surge, whether your AC surge or your DC surge, and the same thing in DC surge, it can handle higher current. Whereas in AC surge, it can handle what? Higher voltage. And they are different from each other. Same thing, the same ways. If there are some surge gun that they can handle, we have three-phase surge, where you have 1, 2, 3, and only have one single output here. So you have your red, blue, and yellow. So each of them will enter here, and you have this one linking to your heart. And one funny thing about heart is that you can connect all the heart together very easily. So in three phase, you have like, well, I have one of my guys like that. They bought surge, and it was like, Oga, really real. Because only have input, no output. Where is the output going? In surge, no output. The only thing they do is that they have input and they bury the higher stuff. Even in motorized gates, especially in places where they don't have thunder arrestor, you normally also buy surge that you put there. That's for surge. In your distribution box, what's the next component? Let me check. In your combiner box, you normally have your CB, you have your AC CB. Normally, you have your input mode and your output mode. Abi yes or no? Let me say this is my battery. Positive, negative. This is my inverter. And this is my load. Load means what's going into the house. And this is my mains. Mains means what's charging your inverter. Your inverter will have inputs let's say inputs and outputs. Abi, then it's now have what? A DC. This is where you connect your battery, positive, negative. So your battery now, this is my battery. If I'm only using inverter and battery, between my DC, between my positive and negative here, negative and positive here like this, I'll put my breaker here. And the breaker between my battery and inverter must be what? Is it AC or what? It's DC. I'll use only what? One. Coming out to my inverter now, I want to charge my inverter for my mains. This will charge my inverter 220 volts. I will have what? A breaker here. The breaker here, is it AC or DC? I have AC one. Then from here, that will go to the building. Here like this. Is it also AC or DC? AC. So I'm using 2 AC breaker and 1 DC breaker. So inside my combiner box, I will have what? One for my DC, AC like this. I have another one like this. I will have another one like this. making theory inside it. If I now use surge, I can put my surge here. So everything will be inside what? My combiner box. And there are some installations that me I will do. I'll prefer to nail them on my board so that when there's any mistake, I can quickly check. Although it's not, it doesn't make a job neat, but it is when I want to check, where is the error? If it's in a design that I now want to use this for your normal inverter and what? And battery. When we get to solar, we'll talk about in solar, you don't use only one single DC breaker. You use how many? Two. Because one will be between the battery and the inverter. The other one will be between what?
Solar and breaker. Charge controller, sorry.
Solar and the charge controller. Thank you very much. One will be between your solar panel and your charge controller. The other one will be between your inverter and battery. And some people will do it like this, that between my charge controller and my battery there is one. Then between my battery and inverter there is another one.
Sorry, sir. I want to ask you.
Okay, because
If you are connecting a DC breaker to battery and inverter, where is your output going to face? Is it the inverter or the output of the DC? You need to connect it to the inverter.
what is the battery doing?
The battery will store the energy that will charge the.
So that has answered my question. Most times the higher voltage is coming from here down to here. So this will be like this. So the out of my inverter will be connected to the in here. Sorry, in like this. And from here it now goes to my battery. Oh, you get what I'm saying now? So the moment I do like this, the inverter will charge off the battery. Most times your battery doesn't give mistake to your inverter. It's your inverter that normally sends as normal signal to your battery. I go do this the other way.
No, I don't understand the explanation.
The cable coming from my inverter will coming from my inverter will enter here. The one out here is going to my what? By battery. So by the time I now put it on like this, it supply charges to the battery. It was asking me one question that why don't you have it from battery to inverter?
Yeah.
Most time your battery doesn't send abnormal current to your inverter. It's your inverter that normally misbehaves towards your battery. Hope you guys get what I'm saying now. What's the next component here? This is how to connect it to. I will ask you now, from now on, I'll be asking you guys to be connecting this. The only thing is that I'll tell you not to power it until when I confirm the connection. Or should I do it this way? Let me make it the third assignment. You draw how this thing will be connected. You know, we are only having how many? We are only having one DC breaker, two AC breaker, and one surge. Just draw down. If you like, do it. Should we make this assignment must or not? Eh? Should we make the assignment must? So, is it not working? Okay. Some video is on it now. C'est bon, tu gèles. That's what we brought for. Oh my God, we lost all our glass. We lost all our glass. We lost the subscription as she reset. What? All these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, on your inverter and battery. We are not talking about. He's taking it to my one of my gadgets. Just one DC breaker, 2 AC breakers, and 1 AC surge. You connect them to the battery and your inverter.
So the art on such, where is it going to?
It's going to the ground. The arting rod is going to the ground. You normally have an arting rod that you nail to the ground.
So the assignment should be composed with this.
No, next class will be Friday now.
We take it to Friday.
Okay. If you don't do it, it will be a cheating on him. You also buy another cook.
Everybody will do it.
I don't do it. You buy another
So
cook.
there is difference between you do it and you don't get the you don't get it right.
Even if you don't get it right, try do it.
Yeah.
Well, where you make mistake, you can easily use barrow to correct it. Then you go and spoil an inverter. And don't forget what I said about surge. Surge are normally connected to your inputs, not output. What's the next component there? Eh? Okay, arrow. I've draw the arrow like this. You now move to inverter. That's you said the main domain. In the inverter, the funniest thing about inverter is this. Inverter will take us like more than 3 classes. If you want to go deep, or you just do little. No, are you the only one in class? Should we have deep knowledge on inverter or just the basic knowledge of inverter? Eh? Deep. Okay. Where should I start up on inverter? Let me first start up with how an inverter is designed. On the design of your inverter. Under the design of your inverter normally has 3 stages. You have the inverting mode or the inverting circuit. We have the charging mode or the charging circuit. We now have what we call the processing mode or the switching circuit. That will switch between inverter. Should I charge? Should I discharge? Should I be charging and discharging at the same time? Let me repeat myself again. This class will just be like 2 hours. How many hours have I spent now? 39 minutes. I'm using it. So this class will be like 1.5 hours. Your inverter has a charging mode. That's where you have your charger. Number 2, it has what we call the discharging mode. Sorry, your charging mode, that's where you have your charger. We have the discharging mode, that's where your inverting circuit. Then we have the switching mode. Let me first start from the charging mode. You will notice one thing, for those that follow us to the job that we did at Ikoyi, we later added another extra charger to it. That should be a bone of sign. Or guys, if the inverter already has the charger, why are we adding extra charger to it? Most inverters have what we call their maximum charging rate. Some is 10 amps, some is 15 amps, some is 20 amps, some is even 30 amps. How did I get what I'm saying? Charging, when we are talking of amps, we are talking of the rate at which energy we move from our inverter down to our battery. There's an illustration they did for my children. They show someone that they want to pull him through the hole. They now show somebody trying to tighten the hole. Trying to pull through the hole is like your current moving. Trying to tighten the hole is our resistance. The differences between here and here is what we call our voltage, potential difference. That's why on the negative side, if you test negative alone, your negative might be 0, and on the positive side is 24. So that voltage can move from here to this side. Hope you guys get what I'm saying now. What our charger works on. Under battery, we talked about the deep charging, we have the steady and the T. Same also with our charging. The higher your charging ratings, the higher the speed at which your battery charges. Let me explain it this way. You have 220 amps battery, and your amps that will charge it is 10 amps. Give me your pen. You have 220 amps battery, and the amps that will charge it up is what? Is 10 amps. And if my DOD is 80%, or let me say 0%, so for me to charge 220, it will be 220 like this over 10. It takes me how many hours? 22 hours. 22 hours close to a single day. Most time we don't have sun this side of the world. We have sun like around 8 hours. So it means it will take me like 4 days for me to charge up this battery if I'm using 10 amps. Am I right or wrong? Although you can't charge from zero, most batteries are 80%. So if we want to find 80% of 220, we get 220 multiplied by 0.8. Oh yeah, someone should help me multiply it. Oh yeah, now. Multiplied by 0.8. It's 176 amps hour. So if I now put this 176 amps over 10 amps, it will take me 17.6. So even if I'm charging at 8 hours, it will take me minimum of 2 days to charge up this battery. Provided that we are not using that battery at all. We are not drawing out of the battery. How you guys get what I'm saying now? For some other designs now, you have your charging will be 20%, 20 amps. Let me now move to 20 amps now. Let me assume that I'm still on 220. Divided by 20. It takes me how many hours? Just 11 hours. But if I'm working on 80% DOD, that's 220 multiplied by over 20. Yeah, what's that one? That's 220. 220 multiplied by 0.8. That's 176 divided by 20. So it will just take me 8.8 hours. So if I have a design that 20 amps is rushing to my battery, I'm sure that if I have only one single solar battery there to charge up, I'll be if I have a design now, I have a design. In my design, 20 amps be charging, assuming the battery has been discharged 80% discharge. So within 8 hours, my battery is full back, provided that I'm not withdrawing energy out of it. If I'm withdrawing energy out of the battery, it means it should take more than 8 hours. I don't want to make it more complex. And one funny thing about this battery is that it will not charge up within 8 hours. You know why I told you that initially your battery will go like this? The current will be going up, the voltage will be going up. At a point, at around between 7 or let me say 6.5 to 8 hours, it will steady. It's until after that 8 hours, it starts dropping back down. Hope you get what I'm saying now. This is charging your battery. Why am I making this explanation? Especially when you are designing your panel. There is something, there is something at the back of your panel, they write IOC and IMP. That is current open circuit and current maximum point. When you want to know how many hours will this number of panels charge up my battery, let him bring the panel out so that it will not be like this man is picking it from off. We still talk more on it when we get to panel. I just want to give a mild explanation. You can watch on the sticker, can the sticker. Ẹ lè fọ́ panel yẹn o, ẹ lè lẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ yẹn fún. all those sachet inverter there. Let me bring one, even if it is the case. So at the back here, so this panel now, if I short circuit, I will have 5.7. If I'm running on open circuit, that I connected other components, the maximum that this panel can bring out is 0.5. So let me now come back. Let me now assume that I have this panel, I have one that's giving me 0.8, and I want to achieve 20 amps. How many panels will I use?
0.5.
Single panel is bringing 0.58.
5.0.
5.09. That's what we see there. And I want to charge one tubular battery. How many panels will I use? That's where we normally arrive at 4 panels. Meaning that if I put 4 panels on a single tubular battery, within 8 hours, my battery is full. Okay. But if I short circuit the battery panel, I put the wires almost together and I'll put star controller here. What I will be seeing is 5.49. But I actually do not need this. What I actually need in my calculation is this. Although we still have something we call maximum voltage. That is, how many panels can I combine together? When we get to panel, there are some panels, their maximum voltage they can accommodate is 2,000 volts. Meaning that 200-watt panel, you can only combine 10 pieces of them together. If it is more than 10, that panel can crack or can burn until when you isolate that one when we get to panel. So let me now let me bring that casing that you see there, that they wrote UPS 4-in-1 up there on the up of that. So mostly, if I now have a system that I'm not using, let me say I'm using 6 panel now, which is 30 amps. By the time I do this over 6, that is over 30. Where's the calculator? That's 176 divided by that. In 5 hours, my battery is already full.
That is for one tubular battery.
That's one tubular battery. In what? Checking out the thing that I said they don't UPS. This one comes to the front. And now, just bring that calculator. I mean, there's something inside. Okay, it has spoiled. You will notice that inside this now, the road that the charger that this inverter has is what, although this one has spoiled, is what? 20 amps. So any calculation I'm doing, I'm using 20 to do my calculation. So, and what are inside my charging circuits? You will normally have a transformer. The transformer will downgrade it to your VDC, making it maybe 220 is coming. You have your transformer here like this. It will bring it down. If it's one single battery, bring it down to around 14. But you know that this is AC, and what comes out here is still AC. We now have what we call, is it wet gate resistor? I've forgotten the name. Wet gate resistor. It will not be like this. So you have diode here, 4 diodes. You have this one here. Then you now have another one here. You have it here. From here, it will enter your inductor like this, and you put a capacitor here to balance it. So here you have now your 12V DC here. Fitted. This one will fitted it. In some cases, you have some IC here. I've forgotten those names of the IC that will remove all AC out of it. That it's only the DC that can charge your battery. You know, DC, this is the way your DC goes. If this is your 12 volts, or let's say 14 volts, it goes like this straight. Whereas these are DC voltage. Whereas in our AC, it goes like this. Abi, sine wave like this. If we start from here, it's what? The sine wave. Don't let me go into that one. So what I need is this like this. Oh, you guys get what I'm saying? So this is my charging circuit. How will I know that I'm using a wrong charger? When your client start complaining that despite the fact that there is electricity, the battery is not charging up. But not every time that is your electricity that causes it. There are some inverter that has low starting voltage, like Prague, that even if they have 120 volts, ẹ bá mi check bóyá ní inú tuntun central power tuntun 16 they will operate. But most inverter, the moment they do not see 180 volts AC o, tíná tó wọlé tí o bá ti pé 180, inverter will do like it's charging o, but if you carry your meter and go and test it, it will not release. Some will release instead of releasing 20 amps that is designed to release, some might be releasing like 5 or 6 amps. So at the end of the day, your client will be complaining, okay, we have light throughout yesterday, and the moment they took out light like this, the inverter went off. It's not that your inverter is not good, it's that the energy, the electricity they're having is below your initial charging capacity of the inverter. What we do in such situation, you put a stabilizer, and there is a rule. If your inverter is 5 kV, you use times 3, 5 kV. I want to do start there. Your start must be 5 times 3, 15 kV. If your inverter is 3.5 multiplied by 3 is what? 12.5. If your inverter that you are using there is 2.5 multiplied by 3, you use 7.5 kV. Times, you need times 3. Do you guys get what I'm saying now? So if you are designing inverter in your house and you notice that the voltage in your house is not reaching 180, or your client is not reaching 180, it's better you specify for them that they should get what? Stabilizer. It's after that stabilizer that should now enter inverter. There are some inverter, you see the right inverter with AVR. I'm still on charging circuit too. When you see where the right inverter with AVR, means that inside that inverter, they have already built a stabilizer within it. Inverter with AVR, they can write from 220, you see they write from 220 to maybe 300. Meaning that even if you have 120 volts, that the voltage as low as 120, the inverter will still charge. But the only type of inverter that can do that is the inverter that has what? Inbuilt AVR. AVR stands for automatic voltage regulator. Hope you guys get what I'm saying. So that you not go to the customer will not be telling you, say, we have electricity for 3 days. The inverter did not work. After having electricity for 3 days, the inverter, after like 2 hours, the inverter goes off. The voltage, they might have electricity, and the voltage that is coming out is not enough. In those cases, you can go and buy one of those smart charger separately that will charge the inverter separately, apart from the voltage that is coming from the power supply. What's that mean? If I pay man, I pay mo ní ẹyọ kan.